one of my very special guests is a guy who's just been to court this morning, from what I understand. Tony Nikolic is one of the generals out there in the cold face. AFL lawyers. Tony, welcome to Prayer and Pushback. Great to see your face. How was it this morning?
Oh, it went well. It was actually a part of another matter who they were the people who wanted to join in and run a pretty similar sort of issue against the government. What we're seeing here is really the coming together of a lot of people from different areas, which is the reason why I stood up. I guess I guess it got to a point to where I could see the frustration in the community, and that's where I was the first one to stand up. And the letter of the 7th of July that everyone talks about, 7th of July 2021, was really about imparting knowledge, giving people that sense of power, and also waking the people up. And what we're seeing now is a number of other law firms coming forward, and that to me is testimony to the fact that it's not just a small isolated group, which is what some may want us to believe. I'm getting calls from all over Australia, Peter. It's the people are just frustrated. And to your previous speaker, Daniel, and bless him for saying what he said. As you know, I ran a federal court case only 2 weeks ago with respect to opening up the houses of worship all around Australia for every faith and denomination. Unfortunately, it didn't succeed, but it was only an interlocutory application, so we're not too concerned. But what we wanted to demonstrate was you cannot. You're being told you cannot talk to your neighbours, you can't hug your family, you can't hug neighbours and support people. You know, when it comes to food banks and congregation, you can't go there. You can't go to your place of worship. You can't hang out with friends. This is what we're being told. You cannot work unless you get a certain medication. You cannot leave a certain geographical location. You know, when you take all that away, you take love, faith and hope from the soul of every person in Australia, okay? You take that away and you've effectively dehumanised everybody, okay?
Yeah, correct. Tony, you represented the young guy that allegedly punched the horse. Can you tell us a little bit about that? We were having a chat about that last night, and, you know, what actually happened to that young man?
Well, it was a very bizarre thing. That was on the 24th of July. There was the Freedom Gathering in Sydney here. It was, as the footage showed, it was well over 25, maybe even 45,000. I didn't count every soul there, but there was quite a few. We were told in the mass media it was between 2,000 and 3,500. Now, and we certainly have that footage. It is not 2,000 people, like Town Hall, all the way down to, well down towards, Central Station. I mean, yeah, all the way down. It was, and the road was packed. George Street was packed. What ended up happening there was one Christian Pekovnik, who was my client. It was alleged that he had struck a horse, and I think everyone sees that photo of that infamous photo. Well, what that really was, it was really a photograph.
Can you ask?
Sorry. Hello.
I'm sorry, Tony. I just got my team in my ear there. Sorry, brother. I don't know if that came through there. Yep.
Yeah, I was just saying there was that one video that was strategically stopped, and it was the video that was stopped and created an image, and that image created a perception that he had actually struck a horse in circumstances where I think everyone's seen the image. What ended up happening there, he was sent to jail. Bail refused, and he spent 14, 15 days in jail, and essentially he was held there incommunicado, so we couldn't get to him. His mother couldn't talk to him. he laid on the floor of his cell asking for his asthma spray, and they said, well, unless you do a PCR test, we're not going to give you your asthma spray. The toilet was blocked for 7 days. 7 days of the time he was there. Now, I filed quite a large affidavit in that matter, where I actually attached the standard minimum rules for prisoners in custody pursuant to the United Nations, commonly referred to as the Nelson Mandela rules. We all know what happened to Nelson Mandela. This had nothing to do, in my view anyway, the way he was treated with the offence. Let whatever happened on the 24th, that'll come before the courts. But his treatment was a catastrophe.
Tony, tell us about informed consent. And I think, where can we get some help? Do you have any templates or anything you could help us with? That how can people reach you? How can they contact you? Because people are lost out there and they really need some practical stuff that they can have. You know, we mentioned a bit about informed consent. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, informed consent is the process. It's an ethical, legal and professional obligation that doctors have with their patients, okay? So a patient needs to be able to give informed consent. That is something that is enshrined in our law. There, you know, when it comes down to taking a medication or a certain procedure, well, you need to give your consent. It's just that simple. So with all these mandated injections, and quite frankly, they're playing ducks and drakes with us every day. With the mandated injections, well, there's no informed consent. If you don't know, and the government and the TGA cannot tell you what's happening and what's in that medication, how can someone effectively give informed consent? So what's happening is most of the clients that we've got, they take their flu shot every year, or, you know, they're inoculated, they've taken all their vaccines, and yet they're being stigmatised and ostracised in the community. You can't come here, you can't go there because you're an anti-vaxxer. Well, that's just not right, in my view. With respect to the templates that you're talking, we have a number of websites. As you know, we've been very busy. We're putting together a whole bunch of templates for everybody. They should be up online within the next few days. Obviously, there's quite a large logistical process that goes on in the background to get them. But if you go to our Telegram site, our Instagram page,
where do we find those, Tony? Where do we find those? Telegram. Okay,
so it's AFL Solicitors on Instagram. Just type in AFL Solicitors on Instagram. Telegram is t.me/AFL Solicitors, and then you also have aflsolicitors.com, which is the website. You can go there. If there are any issues there, you can certainly reach out on any of those platforms, and we can certainly give them to you. Right now, Peter, we're at an intersection, a very important intersection. If I could just say one last thing here, which is this, is that the issue we're presently facing, I think if we go back to the Reverend Martin Neilmere, first they came for, if we all remember that one, and that was the purpose of my letter. First they came for the aged care workers, the airport workers, and then obviously, you can see what's happened, and the next and the final straw is the children. You have a right to speak up. You have a right to say no to something.
Correct.
And I encourage everybody that, if I could just extend on that one little bit, is first they came for New South Wales, then they came for Victoria. They're coming after each and every one of you. Okay? All right?
Correct. And we've got to be informed, know our rights, and stay with them. Tony, you're a champion. I look forward to getting down to Sydney and seeing you, and mate, taking you out to a good Italian restaurant. That put a smile on your face.
Thank you, and
thanks, son.
Bless you. Take care.
Bless
All the
you,
best.
my friend. Thank you so much.